Welcome to this week's edition of Started in Seattle. I'm here with runway2street with Ratna.
Ratna Sharad.
Okay, just want to make sure. I'm Coach Yankofer. Tell us a little bit about runway2street. What do you guys do?
Yeah, we are a luxury brand marketplace. So essentially, you can think of us as an Etsy for luxury brands, and we actually focus primarily on women's fashion brands. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, we're curated. So not every brand can be part of our marketplace. So we kind of bring the curation.
You pick and choose who you want to fit a certain thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how this all started? You come from a pretty elite background, I think.
Oh, well, I come from a technology background, and in my prior life, I was director of product management for Bing Ads.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked with advertising brands and a brand marketplace before. And prior to that, I have a supply chain and logistics background through UPS and acquisition that UPS did. But I've always been very involved in fashion. It's been a huge passion for me, and I feel like there's the technology aspect of fashion that can really go places. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to marry the technology aspect with my fashion sense, and essentially, do that as my business.
Right. So what's the technology aspect that you're bringing that wasn't there before? Right?
Yeah. So essentially, when we actually started this, I wanted to solve a problem personally for myself. I used to travel around the world. Mm-hmm. And whenever, whether I used to travel a lot for work and also on vacations, and I would always find an amazing designer wherever I went, and I'd bring back this amazing piece, and then people started asking, how can I get it? And so it was always impossible to point them to a place where they could buy it.
Right.
And so then I started thinking about, how can I provide a way for consumers to discover amazing brands from around the world. And in doing so, I actually started reaching out to brands and then found that brands have a bigger problem in reaching their customers. And I'm talking about emerging brands, niche brands, brands that don't have a lot of resources in terms of money, marketing, but also in terms of technical prowess. Mm-hmm. So really to build a cutting-edge, boutique online, and to be able to make it work on mobile, really do social media visibility and marketing and all of that. So it ended up being what started as the consumer problem is now we're trying to solve the brand problem. So there's the B2C and the B2B aspect of it that we're solving with this. In addition to that, a big aspect of our marketplace is also the global aspect. It's not that easy to reach your customers worldwide because of shipping and logistics issues, and also like import taxes and duties and things like that. So we really are solving all of those problems for the brands and giving them a platform to reach their ideal customer, regardless of where they're located. And that's the vision. We want to be the launch pad for emerging brands and emerging luxury brands. And I say luxury brands because we focus on quality, and we focus on craftsmanship, and we focus on things that are well made.
Okay. Have you noticed, is there a lot of parallels between what sort of the customers are looking versus the designers, the businesses? Right, you're dealing with two sides.
Yeah.
Do they bump heads a lot and are contradictory in what they need, or do you find it's fairly easy to get them to provide, I guess, a platform that serves both equally?
We find a lot of synergies there, and that's the thing about marketplaces. You kind of have to, there's two sides to the equation, And we started off first, with one side, which was the brand side, because you have to have amazing products to be able to, get the right customer for the product. The brands that we bring to Runway to Street are brands that appeal to women, that are more fashion forward, women typically in their 30s and 40s, and they have an appreciation for products that are well made. So it was very easy actually to make the connection when we actually talk to the brands or talk to our customers. That connection happens automatically. Now, we are 3 months old in terms of being live, but in terms of the experiences that we've had so far, I think they really fit together well. Okay,
and with the sort of the marketplace thing, how did you solve the chicken and egg problem of getting product and getting consumers at the same time?
Well, initially, like I said, we started with the brand, and that was the right place to start, because really first we wanted to prove that brands had a problem and they really want a platform that will help them get visibility, that would give them the technology that they need to sell products online. A lot of our brands also might have their own website, but we act like a supplementary option to these brands, because you could have a basic website and you don't have to worry about additional investment in it, and you could just work with us. And because we offer that risk-free model where they only pay us a commission when a sale is made, it was actually fairly easy for us to recruit the brands, even though we were not a well-known brand, and we just had a vision on what we wanted to be. So once we had these amazing brands that were part of the marketplace, then we were ready to deal with the consumer side. Right now, as of today, we have 35 brands that are part of our marketplace, and now we are focusing on the consumer side, and we'll continue to grow the brand side, and it's about scale going forward.
So the key was making it just really easy for these brands to sign up.
Yeah, absolutely.
No resistance.
Are we solving a problem for them? Do they want to be part of it? Do they feel like their brand is well represented in a luxury environment? Because they care about brand equity. They care about not diluting that. And so it was really important to be with peers that were like-minded brands, and they feel that it represents the right customer as well. Because you don't want to go after a segment that the brand is really not targeting or made for.
Okay. So when you went to them, was there any pushback being like, well, we want to see some users first, or they were like, hey, this is a great idea, we'll grow with you?
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I don't want to say that it was really easy signing up every brand, because originally when we started talking, we didn't even have a product. And so it was more so just me talking to them about the vision and saying, would you be part of this? And we think it will look like this. It was a mock of what Runway to Street turned out to be. And we got, I think we had 8 brands that actually signed up with us before we built anything. So that was a great validation. I did personal meetings with these brands initially, and I want to say that we had around 80% success rates with the brands. But that's just the personal meetings. You cold call and you kind of do emails, and there, the success ratio was the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just kind of went out there, found brands that you thought these are the types of brands we want on our site.
Yeah, I had this list of amazing brands that you know, I would totally wear. Like, you know, I start with me. I'm the biggest customer, and I represent you know, women like me. So it was more so going with starting with that list of brands, and then talking to them and really understanding. More so, even when they said no, it was really useful because you get to know why they're saying no. Is it because, you know, they think they're going to grow and they're going to invest on their technology, or is it because nobody says no to the right kind of, you know, customer base. Right. But if they do say no, it's because they had production problems. And that was good to know, because a lot of these brands that helped us refine the brands we go after, because you don't want to go with brands that haven't even figured out their production cycles. They can't keep up with the logistics aspect of it. And so it was a great learning experience to say they were not the right fit.
Right. And so it was more of a two-way street, because you figure, okay, maybe this is not a brand that's ready to be featured, so we don't want to.
Absolutely. And so just knowing why they're saying no was critical.
Okay.
And there were some that said, well, you're kind of unknown, so come back to us when, you know, you have a platform out there. And, you know, I've actually gone back to some of the brands and we have them on board.
Oh, nice.
You know, but that happened a year later.
Right. Okay. If you could tell the startups out there in Seattle one thing or one bit of advice, what would it be?
I think you know, it's pretty lonely as a, you know, and that was one thing that I did not expect. Well, I did not know how much that would affect me personally, and so I think that's really one thing. And what I've done is I make time to go out. I meet with you know, friends, colleagues, you know, doing coffees, lunches, just talking to people, and not just the startup community. I mean, the startup community in Seattle is pretty small, but really just keeping in touch with people, because you miss that. Yeah, absolutely, you miss that. Especially, you know, I loved having people come into my office or just walk around at Microsoft, and really that's the thing I think that's important to kind of keep that going, because a lot of the calls we do with my team, my development team is in India, and we do Skype calls, you know, so you could go the entire day or a couple days without actually talking to anybody.
Right.
Oh, in person.
Right. All right, so good advice, get out there, get out of your bubble when you can. All right, that's all the time we have now. Thank you very much for taking time to talk to us, and thanks for joining us this week at Started in Seattle.